pick up again with what's happening in the Brexit process. And what I can now tell you is that the BBC has seen a draft of the written conclusions that will be put to EU leaders for agreement at tomorrow's summit in Brussels. And this is the way the system works. There are draft conclusions which are then agreed by the leaders. And the document proposes agreeing to an extension to the Brexit process, but the end date is left blank to be filled in by the leaders after tomorrow's summit, so that's something to be decided. But there are some interesting conditions on this. It notes that if the withdrawal agreement, that's Mrs May's deal, or a Brexit deal if you like, is ratified by the UK Parliament before the eventually agreed date, well then the UK could leave the EU sooner than that date, so it's a bit flexible in that sense. The draft text underlines that the UK must participate in elections to the European Parliament if the withdrawal agreement has not been ratified by the 22nd of May. So there's no deal before the 22nd of May. There'll have to be elections held in the UK to the European Parliament. If the UK does not take part in those elections, it says, it would have to leave the EU by the 1st of June. So that's quite a clear timetable. The proposals, as we know, will be considered by member states, and that's leaders tomorrow. But before that, in Brussels this evening, by ambassadors. So there'll be an initial consideration by the member states' ambassadors tonight before the summit tomorrow. And the UK would also have to commit to act responsibly. This is what Damien was telling us about earlier on. In other words, not to jeopardise the proper functioning of the EU, because there is a view in parts of the EU that if Britain is in on some kind of extension but is due to leave, the incentive not to make trouble, as they see it, is not there. So they want there to be a condition there about acting responsibly. So those are the draft conclusions. As we know, at this moment, at 20 to 6 here, 20 to 7 in Paris, Theresa May is at the Elysee Palace. She's meeting the French President, Emmanuel Macron. She's trying to convince him and Chancellor Merkel and others to agree to a kind of extension. We've seen the date to be fixed. And earlier, the Prime Minister was in Berlin meeting Angela Merkel for last-minute talks there ahead of that EU summit. That is where all the leaders will be voting on whether to delay Brexit again until the end of June, according to the motion passed by the House of Commons within the last 15-20 minutes. So what I'd like to do now is